Hello everyone and welcome back to another CAD tutorial. My name is David. So today we're going to be looking at and learning how to CAD some Lego bricks. So like you learned in the first lesson, let's just go into our dashboard for TinkerCAD from the link on our Dogma website. Now, which should be right here. Now as a reminder, this is where we have all of our designs and where we can access them and edit them. So for today, we are actually going to wait for this to load first. When this loads, alright, so today we're going to create a new design which will be where our CAD is for our Lego brick. So while this loads, and I'm sure you're all familiar with this and working with Lego bricks in the morning, so this right here is the Lego brick we're going to try and build today. So I'll get a good picture of this. It'll come back later, don't worry. So obviously, as you saw, there is a base part to our Lego brick which I will create by dragging this box in. So this Lego brick actually has very specific dimensions, which are 62 by 40 by 15. And again, drag and click and type to dimension a block. For this case, I will click and type, excuse me. So the long side will be 62, and the width will be 40, and the height will be 5 less than that, which is 15. So zoom in a little bit. So that should look a lot like this one because that's what we're trying to create, hopefully. Alright, now, so the dimensions we need to think about and take into account are the distance from the button to button horizontally, vertically, the diameter of these buttons, which is basically how wide the buttons are, and the distance between the buttons and the sides. So these, alright, up here. So now let me just create a work plane on the top of this base block in order to place the buttons there. Hopefully you learn how to do that by clicking on the work plane, and let me just create that. Okay, so let me just drag in 3 cylinders as examples. Alright, 1, 2, and 3. So make these into red also to match the color. This is lagging a lot for some reason. Okay, so the height of these 3 cylinders are actually going to be 3 units, and that is because, well, 3 units looks the best, I guess, on the block. Let me just dimension them really quick. And that's not what I want. Not 2. 4. Alright. And now comes the dimensioning between these cylinders. So we know that the horizontal distance of the block, which is 40 units, you can see that right here, which is 40 units. So, and the distance horizontally includes 2 diameters, because it's 2 cylinders, horizontal distance from button to button, which is, you can't really see here, which will be this distance, and the 2 distance from the button to the side on each side. So that's basically 3 variables. So since the diameters are going to be the largest dimensions, let's make them into 12 units. Alright, so here, if we want to make them diameter into 12 units, and we want to make them the same, we can actually hold Shift, and then click on this to make sure the 2 decrease the same amount. So now that that's 12, we're going to make all of these into 12. Hold Shift. That's not what I want, not 9. 12, cool. And the last one, making the 12 as well. That was pretty quick. Okay, so now that these are into 12 units, so to make it 5 units on each side, we can actually drag it to the side, or drag it to the corner actually, and then rotate up here, and we can see that you can move it 5 up and 5 to the side. It says -5 because it's in that direction, so it doesn't really matter. And we're also going to do that with this one. Drag it all the way to the corner, click out of it, and use that point to get 5. Alright, so those are exactly dimensioned as we want them. So they should look hopefully familiar. Alright, yeah. So now, after that, we can determine the last dimension, which is the vertical distance between these buttons. So this and this, how far should they be apart vertically? So now, as we did with the other dimensions, we need to take the total vertical distance into account, which in this case is 62, like you can see here, is 62. So since we already know the distance between the buttons to the sides, 5 units, and there's one of that on each side. Furthermore, we also know that the diameter of these buttons, 12 units, so subtracting 62 by 3 diameters and 2 side distance lengths will get us the distance of the remainder part here, which ends up being 16 units. That is actually a very perfect amount because all we need to do is divide that by 2 in order to get the vertical distance between the buttons, which turns out to be 8 units. So that 8 units is going to be this distance. Click out of it again to get the point of reference. Move this exactly 8 units apart, and that is all we need to do for these 3 buttons. So now that we have all the dimensions, all we need to do is replicate 3 more buttons with the same dimension that we just made. Alright, so that's going to be pretty easy. So I can use the duplication tool, which you can see in the top left corner here, which is also Control D as a shortcut. So if you press this button, it actually duplicates this exact shape in its same location, and you can drag this away, which should be lined up with this one. Yep, exactly. And actually, that's not lined up. Never mind. This is lined up. I think, yeah, it is. Okay. And then we can do Control D again, which is a duplication tool. And we can move this over here. And Control D again, which is there. And let me just check if these 2 are in place. Get the point of reference at the corner here again. 5 by 5. That's good. Put it back. This is alright. And check this one if this is correct. This should also be 5 by 5. That is correct also. Alright. No, that's alright. Okay. So, following this tutorial, try and CAD this. If you finish, there's an extra bonus. You can also try and CAD if you finish the first one. And if you have any questions, remember them or write them down somewhere so that you can ask them in the session every day at 1 o'clock to 1:30. Have fun with CAD. See ya.